I weighed 385 pounds, and that guy helped me lose 125 pounds. But when I came back to Big Time Rush the next season, the people in charge were very upset with me that I had lost weight because all my costumes didn't fit. The guy who created our show had me wearing like multiple layers
to look bigger. That's awful.
Because he was like, no one's going to recognize you and you're not going to be as funny if you're not as big. Being an out of the closet Jew where you're actually telling people that you're Jewish out in the world, you know, it takes some bravery to do that.
Of course, there has been a lot of hate by being openly Jewish and proud to be Jewish.
Somebody killed Gandhi because he stood up for good. John Lennon stood up for peace, and somebody was angry enough to kill these people.
I'll never forget, I was at my mom's birthday party and your dad was there and he was like, oh, did you hear the news? James got cast on a Nickelodeon show. And then it turned out that I auditioned for that show like a couple weeks later, and it turned out to be Big Time Rush.
Good morning, everyone. It's been a long month this week, and what a great way to end the week with one of my favorite people in the entire world, someone I'm so proud of, who I love. And I will tell you, not that it's necessary, I always have his back. I'm just always amazed by the amount of productivity and the goodness that he puts into the world, and the people behind his back only have even better things to say than I say in public. The incredible James Maslow here with me on Celebrity Entrepreneur Show with James Maslow. Hey, buddy.
Good morning, my friend. Thank you for the lovely introduction. And you know what? You can say it as much as you want. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. In fact, jokes aside, I think it's important to remind people that you care about them. You know, you remind me to call my dad every day. And it means a lot, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm surprised how much great energy I have. I'm going to celebrate my son's 15th birthday this weekend and then go to Nashville. So hopefully you and I can get together. If you're going to be there Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll be in Nashville. And I want to see that studio keeps growing and improving. I'm going to go back and watch when you first started. My studio, I'm at home. So I took a step back this week.
Nice. Of course, you are traveling then when I am traveling to another property in Miami. I've got to go check on that build. So I'll be out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You want to stick around? If you're here Wednesday night, we can do like an 11 p.m. dinner, which is a time that neither of us are ever awake.
Yeah, I know. I definitely, I was the first one to leave our unbelievable event down in Miami. I think that was on Wednesday this week, and I'll be in New York City if you want to join me back. But let's just keep inviting our guest. This is his first invite. I remember seeing him on your show when my kids used to watch it. And I just found out he's part of the SD crew. So hopefully he's a Chargers fan as well, like me. But why don't you
take him off the show? If he's not, he doesn't deserve to be here. So keep that in mind before you jump on. I need you to lie today if it's not the truth. No, I am happy and honored to invite my friend. As you mentioned, he was indeed on Big Time Rush. He played Gustavo Rock, our manager. He is a comedian. He is an actor, and he's a wonderful human being. Him and I have been friends actually long before Big Time Rush happened. We can talk about that a little bit, but without further ado, let's bring on Stephen Kramer Glickman.
Hey, good morning. How are you guys doing? Good to see you guys.
Good.
It's the three Jew San Diego crew all here on office hours. Look at us, three different looking kids of different varieties.
All shapes and sizes, don't we?
Oh, yeah. You bet.
We got to tell me the story of how you guys met, Stephen. We're all San Diego guys, and it's 1 degree of separation. Jewish geography is one thing. San Diego geography is another. Big Time Rush geography is a whole nother scene. Give me how you guys were attracted and first became friends.
Well, I think our parents knew each other. And so I got invited to like a Jewish holiday. I think it was Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur, and James and his family was there, and there was all I remember is that there was a piano at the house, and me and James just gravitated over to this piano. We were both like he was a little boy at the time.
Handsome boy.
A very handsome boy, and I was I looked like this basically.
You actually haven't changed much in the last 20 years. I think you're going to age in reverse at this point. You looked really old, now you look really young, and another 20 you're going to look extremely young. It's kind of a Benjamin Button situation here, pal.
It really is. I'm going to turn into a baby at some point. It is very weird. I've gotten a little grayer, but that's about it.
We all.
But did we have, we would sit around and we would sing musical theater songs at the piano. And I was like, wow, this guy's got a great voice and he's like super talented. But that was kind of, and then we would see each other for like family events, for parties and people's birthdays.
It was like the most casual. It was us and I think one other family, right? The Shaperies.
Yeah.
And so it was like 3 families and occasionally another one that just kind of would get together for high holidays. But that moment, the first time at the piano was the first time that I was always interested in playing, but I think it was the first time that I learned any chords. And I never forget, I mean, to this day, I could play it. It was sitting on an F and a G, doing a little bit of jazz chords, like, da dun da dun da dun da dun da dun da dun.
Yeah.
This, man, I'll just never forget it. Just watching you play, I was very impressed. And that is part of what got me inspired to play today. And not that I'm the greatest pianist in the world, but I've got one sitting right here beneath me in my studio. It's how I write music these days. I mean, heck, I've accompanied myself in the band at Madison Square Garden on it. So
amazing.
You're part of that reason, brother, part of that motivation. So thank you.
I love that. I'll never forget. I was at my mom's birthday party and your dad was there and he was like, oh, did you hear the news? James got cast on a Nickelodeon show. And I was like, oh, cool. Good for James. That's awesome. And then we just continued the party. And then it turned out that I auditioned for that show like a couple of weeks later, and it turned out to be Big Time Rush. And I remember hearing the story of you watching the tape to see who had gotten cast and
freaking out.
It was such a small, what a small world, what a magical thing. Because then, that also, that was like my first time ever being a series regular on anything, and to walk into such a huge, massive project and have a friend there was like, just, that's the best. That's the best feeling in the world. It was awesome.
And I'm just curious, I know in the quantum or spiritual realm, James, as he's evolved, has seen these coincidences, including our relationship, come about. I believe it's coinciding, not coincidence, that I hear these stories about, we went to Rosh Hashanah together or Passover and we were friends. And then James gets his big break, I get mine in the same exact place. And then we remain friends. In that synergy in your relationship, what about today? What are some of the more remarkable miracle things that exist in the coinciding of your relationship, of how you guys still maintain this relationship, and what are you guys doing today together, considering you were childhood friends?
Well, I mean, I'll say this, being Jewish and I know that saying it like this is like a weird way to say it, but like being an out of the closet Jew, where you're like actually telling people that you're Jewish out in the world, and
Jewish and alive.
Jewish and alive. Yeah. Wearing a star out in the world, like all that kind of stuff. Like, it takes some bravery to do that. And, I've always been proud to be Jewish and always been kind of out there and talk about it and stuff. But to see James with such a massive platform in this world be so proud and open about his Judaism is like, it has made, it's just, I'm so proud of him. I think he is such an incredible person, and like a total Maccabee, like just like the coolest, like, just like a total good, like a real fighter, and like an insane talent, and a real piece of the community that is something I'm like super proud of him for. And it, like, I'm also like, getting to do this thing that we're about to go do together, to this just absolutely massive tour, and have him in my corner is it's an unbelievable honor. Like, it's ridiculous,
Yeah, I mean, so
I feel the same way.
for those of you who don't know, Steven will be with us with Big Time Rush on the road. He's going to be opening, and we haven't actually designed the show yet, but very possibly also a part of more of the show. So, I mean, looks like pending one other project we'll be doing together, looks like about 9 months straight. So it's going to be a big chunk of this year. But I really appreciate those words, Steven. And to that point, one of the silver linings of me having been outspoken, which to me is crazy that there's any controversy over what I say, because my message is that of unity. And you guys know me, and it comes from a place of bringing people together and peace and love. But people want to politicize that, and people want to pick sides, and that's unfortunate, but that's the world we live in. But one of the, as I say, silver linings, of course, there has been a lot of hate by being openly Jewish and proud to be Jewish, which obviously is absolute bullshit, but that is the world we're living in today. But that is also what has brought me closer to certain people in my life. And the closer, like those relationships, like getting back in touch with Steven, not that we were out of touch, but when you film a show with somebody, you spend every day with them. It's like you rarely go out of your way to be like, all right, let's also go to dinner. Like I've seen you for the last 16 hours a day for the last 4 years. And you give each other a break. But that conversation actually did bring us back together as friends. And from that, we have spurred, into a couple other conversations, like Steven and I might develop something together. We might do something together because we do have so much history. So I think, David, to your point, that things coincide and happen for a reason. And I've become more spiritual in the last year and a half. I wouldn't necessarily say more religious and a better Jew in terms of practicing, but more connected to God and to faith, and that belief that things do happen for a reason. And I think, Steven and I reconnecting over some of that over the last year and a half has been one of those blessings.
And it's really interesting because, being a mentor of someone like Ellie Zeiler, or to you, James, that knowing this idea of Judaism under the context of unification, under the context of culture, and not necessarily all dogmatic principles are adhered to within Judaism or any other religion. And obviously, I come from a very Jewish family. My brother's a rabbi in San Diego. My mom was the principal of the San Diego Jewish Academy and started the academy, and the UJF and Les Wexner Fellows, and on and on and on about culture of unity, education, and doing good deeds, which are called mitzvahs in Hebrew. And I can't tell you how many people hate me for that mess. Forget labeling it. For that message. I am doing videos about unity, about doing good deeds, about community, and about peace. And people hate that. And as we all have brands and have our own communities, I think it's really important to say that when you stand up for something good, you also get knocked down for being good, not just for being a bad dude. And, somebody killed Gandhi because he stood up for good. John Lennon stood up for peace, and somebody was angry enough and mad enough to kill these people. And so it is such an interesting bond that people don't realize in the Tao nature of my philosophy. If you're going to attack me, you're just going to make me stronger. And your bond, I see getting stronger as well. To that measure, what has made your bond beyond the bonding of religion? relationships are like trolleys. You get on, you get off, especially when we grow up as kids. Is there a certain characteristic of James, Stephen, that you've always admired? And also, is there one that you think he needs to work on?
You spent more time in the first part of the
Besides the mustache.
Yeah.
Besides the mustache.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the mustache. I think I'm pro facial hair. I don't know if you know that.
Nice. I can see that.
I've always felt, that James is like he's definitely one of the hardest working, guys I know. And even when, we were like in the early days of Big Time Rush, you could just see that he was like, he was just working and kicking ass. But he also does this thing that is, where if something's working for him, he has like this is like a true kind of magical thing where he has a way of talking to other people about the stuff that he's experiencing that is healthy for him, and without being preachy or irritating. He has a way of then lending that knowledge or those skills to other people. And I watched it happen on Big Time Rush, where he was working out and like going to the gym and having like this great trainer, and then suddenly all of the guys had the same trainer, and all the guys were working out with the same guy, and they were all getting healthier and all doing their stuff. But the big thing that happened there was when we wrapped Big Time Movie, at the end of Big Time Movie, I was the unhealthiest I've ever been in my life. I weighed 385 pounds and was like, you'd think at 385 pounds, you'd have like a lot of reasons to get healthy. But David, what are the reasons to get healthy? What are the reasons to get healthy if you're not healthy, right?
To enjoy your life, right?
Enjoy your life. All right. I was on a TV show. I was already enjoying my life. Okay. To be able to, maybe you can't afford to eat food, right? Like good food. I could afford to eat whatever the hell I wanted. I was on a TV show, right? Clothing, maybe clothing doesn't fit. I was on a TV show. They make clothes for me, right? They would like, if I went up a size, they'd go, "Hey, we found we got these new pants for you." Like they know what. And then of course dating and ladies, and I had no problem with dating the ladies. So I was dating so many women. I ended up dating one of the tour guides at Paramount, which was a terrible idea, David. Don't ever
you're going to run into that person. You work at the same place.
Yeah, it's a very, very bad idea. The point being is that I had all the reasons, to just kind of do this and not lose weight. And then I was really not feeling well. And James was like, "Hey, I could introduce you to this trainer. He's really great. I think you guys would get along." And he was like, "Oh, there's a guy that he's really helped that you're a fan of too," and whatever. And I went and worked out with this guy that he had set me up with, and that guy helped me lose 125 pounds. And it took like 8 months. But when I came back to Big Time Rush the next season, and I'm not here to like say horrible things about Nickelodeon because I do love that network, but the people in charge at the time, who were not the same people, were very upset with me that I had lost weight because all my costumes didn't fit. So they had to throw away my wardrobe and start over. And then the guy who created our show had me wearing like multiple layers in the first episode. I think I wore 4 layers
To look bigger? That's awful.
Yeah, to look bigger.
I never knew that.
Because he was like, no one's going to recognize you and you're not going to be as funny if you're not as big. Like there was a lot, but I mean,
funny. All right, he's still funny. I can attest.
I was still funny. And it took.
I thought that was funny.
Definitely. Yeah, it was
over 100 pounds, and you've maintained your health. And I know that you're recently getting back onto an even another health journey. We've had some discussions recently.
Yeah, you bet.
With a couple of people in your corner that I'm hoping can help out too, because you're about to be going on a, practically a year-long tour, and you got to treat your body, what you eat, how you train like an athlete if you want to maintain, not going crazy and doing your best on these shows. So I commend you, man, because you have put in so much work and you've maintained that. And
well, I appreciate it. It definitely was, having somebody in my corner that wasn't, as I said, earlier, not preachy or making me feel bad about myself. I mean, I have been on diets since I was 13 years old. Like you name it, cookie diet, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers. Then
it's not a thing. Not a thing.
God, cookie diet. Oh, it was in the 80s.
Yeah, well, and also, I think what also helped, Stephen, is just poking a little bit of fun at you, with love.
Yeah. Well,
peppering in some fun with an abundance of love and support.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You definitely have that for sure.
And I think our time is up, so there's nothing negative for him to say about me.
Okay, good.
What can I work on, Stephen? Make this one.
What can you work on? Could you do more workout videos on TikTok every day? Is that possible? That sure would be great. 6 instead of 5. That would be nice. No, I think
I'm trickless soon.
Yes, please be. For God's sakes, we're trying to sell tickets here. No, you're killing it, man, and I got nothing bad to say.
David, what motivated you? Because I have seen a big shift with you in prioritizing your health over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
What shifted for you that made that a non-negotiable and a priority?
I think it was close to lying to myself, like Steven. When your life is one in which you're getting away with everybody thinking you're healthy because you have everything everybody wants. More money, shows, all the things that I had. And the interesting thing was I was spending a minimum of an hour a day on my health. I separate my day. Half of my life is spent in non-negotiables, half in negotiables. Circumstances don't matter when it comes to my health. But I just wasn't doing the right thing. I was working out. My problem was I didn't have the right mentorship. And I think that's what I derived from the story that Stephen told is you put him in places where people sit in a situation that actually could help him. My problem was overeating. So I couldn't when you get over 50, you can't outwork out your appetite or your nutrition. And so when I got serious about my health, it wasn't changing my exercise at all. It was changing how much food I ate.
Yep.
I ate good foods. I just ate a lot because I could not get rid of this energetic. And the biggest solution was I grew up poor and I have 3 daughters and played football, couldn't gain weight. I could never gain weight. And then when my metabolism slowed down, I kept up to 5,000-6,000 calories because I was lying to myself saying, well, I work out. I'm not going to gain weight. And slowly but surely you gain 5 pounds a year. In 10 years, 5 years, it adds up. Maybe I was gaining on average 7.5 to 10 pounds a year, but I was 47 pounds heavier 5 years ago. You can see it in the videos, but not because I wasn't working out, James. You know me, I am a disciplined mofo. I just had the wrong help. And I think when it comes to your health, everybody's different. And you need to find someone that can individualize, customize your sleep, your balance, your stretching, your nutrition, all of those things, and it's a good friend like you to do that. I got 1 minute, so I'm going to ask Steve because I will ask him. James, what is your number one thing that you want to work on the way you react? So, like for me, I'm working on the need to be offended. It's a horrible thing to have, but I've had it for so long. The need to be offended. Is there an ego-based reaction to when you're afraid that you're working on an emotional thing that maybe you've learned to say, this is not helping me get to where I want to be?
Absolutely. I've thought about this a lot recently. And for me, it is patience with other people who think differently than I do. I'm extremely pragmatic, and I'd like to think often, or most often, rational. But I do have somewhat of a short fuse sometimes when people see things and I'm like, I just immediately know is wrong, or at least in the 3 seconds I gave them, they didn't come to the conclusion that I want quick enough, versus giving people time to take the circuitous route or find things on their own. And what I'm learning and I'm trying to work on with myself is, okay, they may not get it as quickly, or they just may not see it in the same way, but how they come to it might actually be of benefit to me. It might be looking at something from a different perspective. And I am learning patience with allowing other people to take a different path and very possibly come to an even better conclusion just because they don't work as quickly or in the same manner as me. And that's okay.
I love it. Steven, how about you? Is there one area that you're looking at working on? You see a pattern in your life that you may find is a reaction that's not beneficial?
I think right now the two big things I'm working on are when there are things that I don't know, instead of stressing out about those things, asking questions and letting other people who may know better handle stuff, and so I don't have to handle everything. I'm kind of used to there have been times where I'm in charge of everything that I'm doing, and so when I'm not, I have to learn how to really let other people do their job and listen to people and not and just ask questions if I don't understand stuff. And there's a lot of stuff with touring that up to this point I've only toured, I've done some House of Blues touring and some college, university touring, but there's a lot of stuff that I'm still learning about. And so asking questions and trying to understand, how touring Europe works, that's I can't get mad at myself that I don't know all those things yet. So I'm I'm trying to stay open and ask questions and trust other people and stuff like that. So that's a big thing. And then the other thing is I am the son of an incredibly defiant woman. My mom's main characteristic is if you tell her she can't do something, she will absolutely do it. Sometimes to her, to her own detriment. She really is do not tell me what to do. She's a very tough Jewish single woman and is, a total badass, and I love her so much. But I have that trait too, which being defiant can be a good thing, and it can also be a bad thing. As a good thing, someone tells me that me singing a Chapel Roan song on stage is not appropriate because I'm a straight white man. My first instinct is, not only am I going to sing it, I'm going to sing it in front of 20,000 people. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the craziest version of it possible, and it's going to be so much fun, right? So I have that part of me that's defiant, but then also if I have a nutritionist who goes, no more Diet Coke, I go, I'll drink all the Diet Coke I want, which is not great either. So I'm trying to balance.
8 a.m. That better be an old can. What are you doing?
It is an old can. It's an old can.
Good call, brother.
In my fridge. There's no Diet Coke in my fridge. But I have sugar-free Snapple and sugar-free Gatorade and water, cases of water.
Yeah, not
water's good.
All right.
Yeah, but it is a growth lesson in trying to be defiant in a way that helps my health and my well-being, as well as I still have that instinct to be defiant, strong, and mentally, and do whatever I want. So
the energetic and genetic inheritances that can cause us to either interfere or to excel towards the divine direction in that divine time that makes us all better. And I will tell you that you make this show better, you make James better, And now I'm glad to say that the 3Jew crew is back together again here from San Diego. We are all over it. I can't wait to meet you in person and give you a big hug, my brother.
Absolutely.
Great luck to you. I look forward to seeing you. You're always invited, not obligated, but always invited. I'll make sure you're on the list of 200 invitations a year. And I'm going to see you on tour. I promise.
Hell yeah. That's so rad. Thanks, James. Thanks, David.
Thank you, brother. All right, Mr. Maslow, I got to go to a coaching call, but what's your takeaway of the day?
My quick wrap up here is, man, it's good to be reminded of where we come from and continue to have perseverance and persistence in our goals, but also give ourselves a break and understand we're not perfect and everybody had their things they're working on. We're always going to be working on something. And so I think just talking about it, being aware of it, and striving to improve is a wonderful thing.
And my takeaway is the correlation of age, experience, and humility. What I find, and especially as I have amazing young people in my life, like you and Steven, is I see from the 19-year-old life coaches that think they know everything into the 30s and 40s of other people that I assist and work with and learn from and listen for. A great correlation between the more experience we have. You're either humble or you're about to be, but humility is a defining characteristic in our growth of knowing what we don't know, accepting and having patience for the people that don't know what they don't know, and the combination and reconciliation thereof of what we don't know. But knowing beyond what we don't know that we don't know is there is a source that knows everything and is all powerful. And we just got to stop interfering with it. That's what I got to tell you. And you have assisted me greatly, and your friends. I cannot wait to meet Steven. We're going to sit down for hours and have a Diet Coke together and go ahead and enlighten each other while you tell us to stop. Anyway, James Maslow, I will see you next week. I'm sorry I'll miss you in person, but I'll be there in spirit. Thanks so much.
We'll find a way to connect soon, brother. I'll see you soon. Thank you for your time.